thing that you need to understand, first observation that I need to pass on to you, is if you think all of this outrage and all of these protests are spontaneous and specific to the elements of this executive order, you need to stop thinking that, because that is not what any of this is about. What all of this is about is the preordained, prearranged Democrat Party strategy of unseating Donald Trump and opposing him. And it is nothing more than total resistance to everything. It doesn't matter what it is. There is going to be total resistance to everything. He's going to name his Supreme Court pick tomorrow night. Total resistance. The protests at the airports, bought and paid for by George Soros, pre-arranged. People have been sitting and waiting for the moment to be cued to action. They were not minding their own business, running around, taking care of things and living their lives, and all of a sudden feeling outraged over Trump's executive order. They have been waiting at the starting gate. They have been poised and waiting for marching orders, and the executive order was issued and the marching orders went out. The protests are typical of the way the media does things. The narrative here, the picture being painted, is that every protest is a representation of a majority of thinking in the country, that Trump's election was fraudulent and is an aberration, that a majority of people actually did not elect Trump, and therefore what he's doing does not have the sanction and approval of a majority of Americans because the election and he are illegitimate. The protests are being portrayed as representative of the majority of the people in the country, and not only that, the media portrayal makes it look, as they always do, as though everybody agrees with the line of attack on Trump. And this is designed to suck you in. It's designed to weaken Trump supporters, to have you start questioning your decision to vote for him, to question your support for Trump. It's all part of the plan. It's not specific to this executive order. They have been waiting for the first opportunity to en masse engage, and this is it. And I'm telling you, the Democrat Party, folks, do not doubt me on this. All of these protests, mass protests at the airports and all this stuff, does not mask the fact and does not hide the fact that the Democrat Party is a minority party that is losing its grip, that is losing touch, that is losing seats, that is losing its power. And these protests are, part of them is to create the illusion that they are still the majority, that they represent a majority of thinking in the country, that they are more powerful than they've ever been, and none of it's true. This is George Soros bought and paid for and organized for the most part. It is not spontaneous. It's not specific to this. They have manuals and talking points, things to say when it's a protest of, or when it's an executive order on ethnicity or foreign nationals of any kind. And if it comes to Supreme Court nominee, then they're going to have another manual that tells them what to say as they hit the protest march for that. It's not spontaneous. It is planned because, and by the way, this is all the Democrat Party has. This is it. This has become the substance of the Democrat Party. No, total resistance. I was telling people over the weekend who are alarmed at how often and how large these protests materialize. I mean, and let's face it, with it being a semi-common occurrence, there's one of two reactions. You either get tired of it and you get mad, which is me, or you get frightened and you get anxious. And you start questioning, oh, my God, are these people still the majority and this election was just a fluke? No, they are not. If they weren't being paid and if they weren't being organized and if they weren't waiting for marching orders, these protests wouldn't be nearly as large or intense as they are.